the menace. Menace is sobriety.
Funnily enough, when you start drinking, you don't look any different to everyone else, right? So I started when I was 13, 14. Everyone's just getting drunk. Everyone's binging.
Yeah.
It's just normal. You just fit in with the crowd, right? And then when I was about 15, I started to get super anxious, which, again, you think you're a teenager. You know, you're anxious. You overthink things, and you think that's just normal. But for me, it was so much more than that. It was every day, every second. I was scared of social situations, of people, of catastrophizing what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And for me, it was at the same time when we start binging. And when you binge, you know, just drinking at this point, you binge, you black out, you're not worried.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't thinking about what might happen next week. I was just in the moment, loving life, partying, and it kind of, you know, because alcohol it's legal, it's encouraged. It was okay. It wasn't like you're doing a bad thing. You're doing what
don't drink too much, but there's no major downside.
Yeah. And this is, you know, it's one thing I talk about a lot is when people talk about, you know, what a problem is. If it's normal to binge to the excess where you black out, don't remember what you've done, and that's normal, where's the problem? How can you, like, there's no line. Anyway, so I remember having this anxiety, but I didn't really know how to verbalize it. I didn't know what was going on. You're a kid. Yeah. And I went to university because my family did, and they said, you know, it seems like the right thing to do. But I just got even more anxious, and the more I got anxious, the more I relied on alcohol to remove the anxiety, but it would always come back the next day twice as hard. And when it does,
you drink twice as hard,
right? And then I left university. I failed. I was like, I just couldn't attend anything. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Didn't even know who I was at that time. Anyway, so then I left, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just get a job. I got a job as a waiter in this like countryside pub restaurant place. And it was strange that for someone with social anxiety to be in a room full of people, I felt incredibly calm because I had control over that social setting. Even just as simple as someone sitting down and I'm stood up, I can control the situation. I can remove myself when I want to. So I found that working in hospitality, I felt more comfortable than being at home by myself. I would have panic attacks hundreds of times a day.
Really?
Just at home. It was so consuming mentally. Yeah. So alcohol was my tool. There was nothing else that helped, just alcohol. And then I thought, you know, if I'm going to do hospitality, I've got to come to London. So I ended up moving down, worked at some very, very famous and very high-end places where the guests we would have in were like, you know, A-list Hollywood stars and even presidents. And
give us some names of the stars, can you?
If you give a name, I can say yes or no.
All right. Jimmy Savile. No.
Yeah.
He's on the pod next week, isn't he?
Where was you working at? The BBC? No, I'm joking. I don't know, like, sorry, mate. Yeah, your career is over. No, I don't know, like who, like actors, famous actors,
rock stars, rappers.
All right, okay. Well, let's not go into details.
Yeah.
But all right,
but
so
it's this kind of clientele where you think that's the dream, right? You want to be famous, you want to be rich. This was what I was living in for so many years in London. Obviously, even through my drinking and whatnot, I still managed to kind of progress.
Yeah.
And for me, especially in a city like this and a culture like we have where you value yourself on work so much, if your work's fine, how can there be a problem?
Yeah, if you're doing well in your job, but you know, you're a bit fucked on the outside, don't matter, you're doing well at your job.
Like so many people I know in the city still, and it's like they'll just go to the extreme with coke, with alcohol, but as long as they get to work and they make it through the day and they make money, that's it, you've sorted it.
Menace is sobriety.